Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Miss Kitty's Corner. So, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about poetry again. And this poetry lesson is going to have a specific theme because this week, on Wednesday, it is actually Earth Day. And Earth Day is a wonderful day. And if you don't already know about it, it's a day where people from all their towns go outside and they celebrate the earth in whatever way they think of and whatever way is important to them. So, growing up for myself, every Earth Day, me and my family would walk down our streets and in Foster, Rhode Island, and we would pick up trash off the side of the street. And the end of our route was always our town, the center of Foster or the center of our town. And there would always be a lot of people there, and they would have drinks and snacks for us. And we would take our trash that we had collected along the streets and we'd put it in the dumpsters and we would celebrate. And we would use all reusable, we would have paper bags and paper plates and anything that could be recycled and composted. Now, that's another thing. What does it mean to recycle something? So, normally in our day to day lives, we have a lot of different things that we can throw out in the trash, right? So, you might have a bag of chips that was just finished that you put in the trash. But what if you had a plastic water bottle? Or what if you had a jug of milk or a carton of milk that was empty? Instead of throwing it in the trash, we put that in the recycling bin. And you'll see recycling bins. Mine are blue, but I know different towns like Scituate, you might have green recycling bins. And so we put these contents that can be recycled, such as a plastic jug or a cardboard carton of milk, and we put them in the recycling bins. And what happens on our trash day or recycling day is the waste removal people, who that is their job, they take our waste and they go bring it to the energy center in Rhode Island. That with recycling, they make it into something else. So I know that I have a bag that is made fully of recycled materials. And let me go grab that so I can show it to you. So this is the bag that I'm talking about, and you can see it in the camera that it's kind of shiny because it's made out of recycled material. So this could be made out of water bottles, so different types of plastics, and they have reused it, and it's now a bag. And what I normally keep in this bag are my cords. So I keep chargers in here when I might be staying at a friend's house or going on vacation. So it's great because I also love this bag because I know that it's recycled, that it was once something else, but we reused it to become something that has a different purpose. And so it wasn't just thrown in the landfill. So recycling and reusing things is really important because if we all just threw everything in the trash, our landfills would be up to the sky and we wouldn't have any more room, right? Because every day, as you probably know, your trash bins fill up. And it's never going to stop, right? But when we recycle things, we give them a new life, just like the water bottles or the plastic jugs that took to make this bag. Now I have a bag. And so when this perhaps is at the end of its life, maybe it has a hole in it, I can recycle this and it can have another new life. So Earth Day is about celebrating what we can do to help our Earth. And one of the main things as humans we can do is take care of our Earth by recycling and reusing as many things as we can to try to limit the amount of waste that we create. So today's poem, back to our main subject of poetry, today's poem that I chose is called Earth Day Mix-Up. And it's a really cute poem and I hope that you enjoy it. Earth Day Mix-Up. I was telling my friend all about Earth Day. She heard me wrong and thought I said birthday. She said she would rush down to the mall and buy a dollhouse or a doll. I said she shouldn't buy all that stuff. The landfills are full of trash. Enough. Then she knew that she'd made a mistake and said she would make a birthday cake. I cheered about that. I said, hooray! So that's how we're celebrating Earth Day. And now she's learning about recycling trash. And not only that, but she saved her cash. So I really liked that poem because I think it's really sweet that there was a mix-up, right? One of the friends thought they said birthday, but no, they actually said I'm celebrating Earth Day. And as you grow older, you'll realize more and more the importance of Earth Day. But I say it's never too early to start. So this whole week, I'm going to be doing videos around Earth Day, and today's is on poetry. So I hope that you enjoyed the Earth Day mix-up. Today, we are going to be talking about a specific type of poetry, and it's called acrostic poems. And so you may have heard of an acrostic poem, but it's more likely that you've actually seen an acrostic poem. This is what an acrostic poem actually looks like. So take a minute. Yeah. So what do we notice about an acrostic poem? The first letter of each word is capitalized, right? And it's big and bolded. And it spells out spring. It spells out a word. So an acrostic poem is a poem in which the first letter of each line spells out a word or a message. So this one is about spring. Spring is here. Pretty flowers grow. Robins come out more. I feed the birds. New animals are born. Got to find Easter eggs. So this poem is all about the theme of spring. Today, we're going to be writing an acrostic poem, so a poem that has the first letter that starts our message or our phrase, and we're going to be doing ours around Earth Day. So, let's get started. I'm going to put my video on time lapse, and I'm going to show you how to do an acrostic poem about Earth Day. Now, I'm not going to use the phrase Earth Day exactly. I'm going to use a different phrase, or word, I should say. But I want to show you how to create an acrostic poem. So let's get started. I'll put my video on time lapse and you'll be able to see. So, as you can tell, the word I chose for my acrostic poem around Earth Day is recycle. And I found it really easy, actually, to come up with words that started with each of these letters because recycling and Earth Day is such a big topic. It's such a broad topic and theme that I was able to easily come up with words around this theme. So R, reuse newspapers for crafts. So it's really important to know that in an acrostic poem, since my word was recycle, that was the first thing that I did, right? You saw in the time-lapse video was I wrote recycle. So I knew this first line, my sentence, the first word of my sentence has to start with a word that starts with R. So reuse newspapers for crafts. E, every plastic bottle can have a new life. For C, I did carefully separate cardboard from plastic. For Y, I did you can do it every day. For C, another C, I did cheer your family on when you fill the bin, the recycling bin. For L, I did landfills will be happier because landfills will have less stuff in them, right? When we recycle, it gets reused. And so landfills will be lower. And for E, I did each child has the power to recycle. So, if you want to practice an acrostic poem, go ahead. Maybe you want to start out with choosing a word to first start. You want to choose a word that is short, so you only have a few to think of. So maybe you want to start with something like sun. Only 3 letters, right? So S could be super hot in the summer. U has to, the first word has to start with U. What could U be? Under the trees, it is much cooler. And then N could be something like, let's think. No clouds today. So take a minute and try to practice an acrostic poem. And it doesn't have to be about Earth Day, because if this is the first time you're doing an acrostic poem, maybe you want it to be more simple and you just want to practice on something. You could do mom, so M-O-M, or dad, D-A-D. And I think that these are going to come out really great. Acrostic poems are so fun because there's so many different ways that you could go. So somebody else, let's say Mrs. Fraser or Miss Galvin, could say, I want to do an acrostic poem with the word recycle. Well, guess what? Even if they did the word recycle, they are going to have all different sentences than me. They're probably not going to use the same first word, right? So we're both going to use R because recycle starts with R, but I used the word reuse. Maybe Miss Galvin or Mrs. Fraser would want to use the word ready to sort my plastics from my tin or something like that. There's so many different R words that you could use to start your sentence, and the same thing with each letter, right? So this is only one way that you could do an acrostic poem. So you can do an acrostic poem about a bunch of different words, and they all can be very unique or different. And they're really fun, and they always come out wonderful. And at the bottom, you can always draw a picture, or at the top, and you can even put a title if you would like. So I hope that you really enjoyed this episode on acrostic poems, and I hope that you are excited about this week's episodes that are all going to be centered around Earth Day. Well, I'll see you in the next episode, boys and girls. We miss you terribly, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.